What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 169 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo and NetRush. And today, this is going to be so fun, Kris. I know
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be really interesting, everybody, because we're going to talk about starting and scaling a business in an area of interest that you're passionate about. And a lot of times that means your passionate interest might be in a really competitive space in the e-commerce world, and it's tough to crack into, but it's your mission and you want to do it. And so we've got a guy who's done it many times. Cody Bramlett, how are you doing?
I'm great, guys. It's been a wonderful day. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. I mean, we were sort of read a little bit about your background, and you're in the supplement space. You started these businesses, and you've made quite a bit of money off of these. And this is a category where a lot of people really struggle when they try to launch. So we're fascinated. We can't wait. We got so much we want to talk about with you. But before we do all that, you got the floor for a few seconds. We'd love to hear just sort of your story, your background, how you decided to do this, what were you doing before, and then some of the results that came of it and what you're doing now. So you got the floor, Cody.
Love it. Well, read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in high school. My dad worked for the schools. My dad's best friend had a $100 million construction company. So I really resonated with that. And yes. I still remember one of the chapters where it said, I told my friends about this. They told me I was crazy. And then open up the next chapter. It goes, you told your friends yesterday and they thought you were crazy. And I was like, oh, that moment in life, I knew I had to go sell and start my own business and kind of figure things out. And it was a whole goal of discovering what that was. And I spent, going to college years after. I was in a Bill Glazer, Dan Kennedy mastermind in San Diego for a while. I was just trying to determine what it was. I was a heavy set, unhealthy kid. My parents were both, relatively unhealthy when we were younger. And so exercise was very important to me. I became obsessed with kettlebells. I started training on a part-time doing that on top of my sales job. Ended up opening a gym full time, had a gym that had over 200 members in San Diego, 50 classes a week, had a full staff doing that. A lot of fun. And in that time period, I was thinking of how to scale this, how to bring it online, how to, do like Amazon does and be able to reach thousands and thousands and millions of people. You can't do that with a local gym in a industrial park teaching kettlebell classes that can put 20 people into a room at most. And we started doing nutrition help coaching, and I had someone walk in and showed me their supplement, and it was a protein powder that had, I think, 8 grams of protein in it. And she told me she spent $80 on the tub. And I got really angry because that's just absurd. At any store, $30 gets you 5 times better the product. And at that point, I was like, I have to make a brand of supplements that is simple, real, and only what you need. And I started that whole journey. Shoot, I don't even know, 6-7 years ago now, and we've $45 million in sales later, and it's been a whirlwind. And now I'm teaching people how to do it because it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy helping. And yeah.
Well, so supplements is one of the hardest nuts to crack on the Amazon space. Like anytime Dustin and I talk to sellers, like, oh, we're in supplements, and immediately that's like, all right, well, this is going to be a journey. This is not like some 6 weeks we're going to be making money kind of deal. This is going to be more like 6 to 12, maybe even longer months before you start to be even profitable. So supplements is a hard nut to crack on Amazon. But you seem to have done something different. It's not so much that you're on Amazon, you're doing more of off Amazon sales, and you've done really well with that. That's a lot harder for sellers to do. What made you start there? Instead of going on Amazon like traditional brands would do, what made you start not so much on Amazon?
Yeah, 100%. So back in the day, I didn't even know you could just sign up on Amazon. It wasn't even an option to me. So the main concept I'd been learning from Bill Glazer, Dan Kennedy was the idea of direct marketing. And with that, it's basically a long video story sales page that tells the story that allows people to know, like, and trust you to want to buy from you in that sitting. So a lot of times they're learning about a product, the benefits, the features, a story about how it helps somebody, and being like, you know what, I think this is right for me. And so understanding that entire process through going to these coaching groups and reading the news articles and understanding how they applied it to, I think Bill Glazer had a men's clothing line store, how they can use all that stuff in the aspect to do well. It's like, okay, there has to be a space for this for health and supplements. And I happened to come across a software called ClickBank It's a marketplace. A lot of people have seen it before. There's two other ones out there, Digistore and Buy Goods. And I was like, okay, cool. I could sell online. There's like people doing these ab products and things like that. So my brother and I actually filmed an entire kettlebell workout program in my gym with like little Kodak cameras before cell phones had good cameras and stuff. And our buddy edited it all together on a computer where it took him 3 months because it couldn't process it fast and all that fun stuff. And we launched it on this network of people on ClickBank and did like $20,000 in sales. And then I didn't know what else to do and kind of just walked away. My brother just kept doing it. And I jumped it back in a few years later and kind of copied it. But that entire idea is what got me excited about selling online and being able to reach people, because it's just, you're getting in front of people in their email inbox, right? So you're getting traffic from people who have blogs, who have products they've sold before, who have an email list from whatever reason they have them. And they're using these lists to market and share other people's knowledge. And so getting in front of audiences like that is huge, because even on Amazon, if no one knows what to type in to find your name, no one's ever going to find you.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting. I can resonate with a lot of your story, except the $45 million part.
Oh, come on, Dustin, right? You got that right.
I'm moving in that direction. But so it's interesting because you're talking about you had your gym. I mean, I started out as a tennis pro, and it's the same thing. You're locked in. It's like a physical location, and it's like you can do, your times, your money. It's hard to scale that. And when you realize, when you start seeing like, oh my gosh, now I'm selling products all over the country or the world, and it's sort of while you sleep. It's interesting, but it's also interesting you bring up ClickBank. I spent a lot of years messing around with like working as an affiliate and doing some affiliate marketing, and I was inside ClickBank a lot for years and marketing. Maybe I marketed your workout program. I can't even remember, but it was years ago. But that's another interesting take in order to get in front of us. A lot of people don't realize the vastness of those affiliate networks. So you get a good product on one of those, and it's going to get picked up by a lot of people who are going to market it for you. And so did you do that for your initial supplements as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So literally my brother had already been doing well selling his basically gym workouts online. He was called the Garage Warrior at the time, and just absolutely killing it. And he took the family to Hawaii. And at that time I was broker than broke gets. So I was like, okay. He's like, you got to pay for your flight. I'm like, okay. Mustered up the $300, $400 to go to Hawaii, and spent the week there with the family, and just talking to him on the roof about what I wanted to do and how I hated training people. Cause charging someone $100, $200 a month at a gym and they lose 40 pounds and tell you it's too expensive was emotionally crushing for me. And I just was tired of it. And he's like, you should just do supplements. And we talked about it a bunch. And I went back and spent the next year kind of contemplating how to do that and creating an entire story and reason for the brand and all that fun stuff. And ironically, I launched it to my gym community and didn't sell anything. No one cared to buy supplements from me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, let's walk that whole story from the start. So you decided to do supplements. Your first step is you've got to find supplements to sell. You've got to source them. So what did that process look like for you?
Yeah, exactly. So most people are like, I got to go spend $40,000 and buy a bunch of inventory. And this is what I did at the beginning too. So I swiped up every credit card I had and was out of stock for about 6 weeks and was calling the phone every day. Do you have it ready? Could you have it ready? Kind of thing. But it turns out there's like 3, 4, 5 companies out there that do white label on demand, which basically means I have 50 different SKUs on here. You make a label, I'll sell it, and then send you an invoice. And so these companies have gotten really good, really nailing in the exact formulas or product niches that you like. And that's how I recommend anybody start, by the way. You never should do a custom product, because a supplement brand is not about the product. It's about the systems and procedures in running a company. The supplement is just the thing. I could literally sell bands. I could sell watches. I could sell anything. It's the exact same process on the back end. And that's the hardest part to learn. So you do a white label product. You get a sales page written by a professional copywriter, or you learn how to do it yourself by taking different copywriting courses. You build the sales page on a WordPress theme, a ClickFunnels theme, or if you know some coders or can hire some coders to build an HTML, you do that. And then you set it up on these platforms. And then from there, it's how do you get it noticed? And that involves going to conferences, shaking hands, kissing babies, just making friends with people and getting someone to test your offer so you can get feedback and stats. And then from there, once you've gotten the stats and they're okay with it, getting them to run it again and then sharing that with other people. And if it's not good, then improving upon it and testing. So there's just dozens and dozens of steps involved to build it all out. And it sounds really easy, like, oh, you just build a sales page and put it up online. But there's just so many little methodical things you got to do to really succeed. But they're all measurable and trackable. And it's not like well, maybe it'll work well like this. You can literally almost scientifically calculate all this stuff. And that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah, this sounds like a long process.
It can be. It can take 3 to 4 months to launch your first funnel for sure.
Yeah. And by then you have to have an idea of like what your product going to be. I think all three of us have been through the type of like landing page, act now, hurry, it's going to miss. That's what I'm kind of picturing here. Is that the type of system that this is?
Kind of. There's two types out there. Well, 3 technically, but the third we won't worry about. There's this short form e-com page, which is basically like an e-com page, but having a little bit of story to it. Could be a video. It could be a story involved. It could be just more information about the product than you would normally traditionally find. But what really works is these long form text sales pages or video sales pages. I'm talking 30 minutes to an hour long video that plays a story.
Real quick, why do you think that works so well? Is it just because they're invested now when they read it all?
Yes, because they know, like, and trust you in that one call. So there's not 7 touches. Like on Facebook, if you're really good at remarketing and using pixels, you can touch someone 7 or 8 times with a certain different ads and then get them to buy. The whole goal with doing things with direct marketing is 100 people land the page and you want to convert 2 to 3 of them on average, always. And so you have to do that with that long story. And so I meet owners that are like, oh, I don't have a story. Oh, that's scammy. This one lady's like, oh, it's scammy to do that. I don't like doing that. I'm like, well, tell me your story. Why do you want to have a supplement brand? Well, I was having trouble losing weight and I was struggling after weight loss. And then my husband reached out to someone at church and she said to try this supplement with these 2 ingredients in it. So first I tried to make it on my own and I didn't like that. So I ended up buying it from the place she recommended and I started losing weight. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a sales page right there. You don't have to do anything else. Like that is the beginning of the sales page. And so that whole story of getting someone to understand that they can trust you and this is worth doing is the entire process. I think the best example was we were at a conference and I think the movie Rounders is it, where it starts out in an intense ski scene with a lady going down a hill on like a competition. She wipes out and almost dies. And this scene then like wipes away to like 5 years later. They're like in New York doing the whole stock trading thing. And the whole idea of that initial scene had nothing to do with the story, was just to get your adrenaline going, get you connected and want to know more about the customer, about the person, and not let go and walk away from the movie.
I've always found like that long form type direct sales approach fascinating because I get into them all the time. I mean, if the video pops up in my Facebook feed, it's just some sponsored ad and it's something I'm interested in, I'll find myself 45 minutes later, like still watching that video. And it works. You're right. Just in terms of at first you're like, I want to figure out, what this is all about. And then you're about 10 minutes in, you're like, I kind of like this guy. I like where he's going with this. Now I'm more intrigued. It's amazing that works that well. And it's really interesting in terms of like, especially a supplement product. I mean, anything that you're eating or putting on your skin or anything, you'll want to really trust it. And so that can help close that deal. Or was it in those videos? Was it always you? Was it always you telling your story or was it somebody else? Or
so the original sales page was about me and my dad because my dad had injured and his doctor said, go eat turmeric. So boom, right there, I'm doing a turmeric product. That was the whole idea of the sales page. That product sales page kept evolving into a buy 1, get 3 free offer. So you buy 1 bottle of turmeric, you get 3 bottles free. And that was a video of me being like, hey guys, buy turmeric. It's great for you. And that did really well, but it worked because I'd already developed a good name in the direct marketing space, both for the affiliates who want to market and for the customers. And the product itself was in the zeitgeist. People knew what turmeric was at that point. I mean, I'd watched it on Dr. Oz, Oprah, all that. It's been on everything, right? So at that point, it was everyone already knew what it was. So if you had something that was completely new out of left field, you couldn't do that same short story approach and with as much success. without the multiple touches, which is much harder to do in direct marketing or Facebook than people make it out to be. It's especially now with the new iOS updates, like it's impossible to know anything.
It's really attractive in the space now, is in the Amazon space, is doing like off Amazon marketing. On Amazon is expensive. You got cost per clicks. You're running video ads. You just the competition is growing, and the prices for a click is outrageous, and there's a lot of money being floated around. So now, like, the flashy new item is get affiliates, get influencers, tell them to post about it on social, and try to drive that traffic back to Amazon so you can get some cheaper clicks. So what's the quickest way to do that? Like, if I have a brand and I'm trying to build my own affiliate network, where do I go?
Perfect. So there's two types of affiliates. So a lot of what you were mentioning is a lot cheaper of an affiliate than everything in the direct marketing space. So we pay with supplements between 50 and 60% of the revenue, the actual sale price. And that includes any upsells as well to the affiliate, the person driving the traffic. So it could be $80 to $140 going back to the customer. So it's not a cheap click, but it's consistent. And that's the key with that network. So you wouldn't want to go out and try and get someone who's used to promoting an offer like that to promote to a Amazon page, because there's no way they're going to make that same commission because of how the structure is all set up. But reaching out to people who are not in that space, spokespeople, doctors, health practitioners, people in those kinds of space, that is those people, they don't know the value of their list. They don't know what can be done, or they're not willing to market that type of product because they doesn't feel that it fits their demographic. I can't remember her name. There was a great lady who had a really huge blog list that exploded about 2 years ago, and she just would not promote most products on affiliate marketing because she just didn't believe in them. But she'd promote almost the exact same product on Amazon. So it was just kind of you find the right person for that space. I really think that it's almost like there's two ecosystems, and if you can make a direct marketing ecosystem strong, it will strengthen your Amazon. Because I don't know about you guys, but like if I'm reading a sales page or find something on Facebook or anywhere as I'm strolling along in the toilet, looking on my phone, I don't click buy now. I go copy and paste the product name, paste it into Amazon, go, there it is, order, add to cart, ship. And so that's literally what I think that it's having that platform, having the affiliate side is that important, because you'll be able to then get all those people who normally read your page and go, oh, and then not buy it because it's not on Amazon. Now they will, because it's on Amazon.
So the affiliates that what's the net? Are you still using ClickBank as your affiliate network, or do you have other affiliate networks?
So ClickBank, Buy Goods, and Digistore are the three platforms. And these are more of a CRM like Amazon. So they do have networks of people there who can see your product and grab your link and promote it. But the real value of these people are out going in conferences and joining, groups. For example, there's a group that one of my affiliate managers is in. There's probably 400 affiliate managers from different companies, from one company that sells like beeswax products to people that have like master classes for certain kind of like, allergies, and they teach people how to do stuff online, to products like ours. And so all those people get together and they'll make friends and they'll promote each other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of concept. So that's truly where the best people are, is finding those types of communities. And there's lots of Facebook groups out there that have it, but that's where it's at. Because if you take a product and just post it on ClickBank's marketplace, you don't have any traffic yet. So you have no gravity to raise you up, and no one's going to be able to see your offer or trust it because it's not successful. The ones that succeed out of nowhere is because they've done it 50 times before, and they just email everyone they know and go, I have a new offer live, here's the link. And then people start testing it.
It's really fascinating. I love the whole approach, because you're right. Like, people talk about selling a product, okay, and then they get so focused on, okay, well, I just need to get a product out there, and then they're, where are my sales? I mean, it's there for sale, but no one's buying it. So creating your story, creating all those assets that tell your story, the videos, and then getting that into a network of people that are spreading that for you, these affiliates, that's the key. And then you get the residual effect of, because of all that awareness, now people are going directly to e-commerce platforms and marketplaces and purchasing your product more organically. Now you're convincing me to get into the supplement space.
Well, there's something I heard in back in the day. I don't remember where it was, but there's not one way to make $100. There's 100 ways to make $1.
Sure.
And
That's
so
good.
with everything, you have to be on every platform there is. As you guys are out there telling people how easy it is, I'm telling people how you should do it this way. More and more people get in. The competition increases more and more. So only the better, cleaner people who are more out there will survive and succeed the way they want. So you really have to be on Amazon. You got to be on Facebook. You got to be on Shopify. You got to be on ClickBank, Buy Goods, Digistore, your own platform. You got to reach out to people in podcast space. You got to reach out to everywhere you can to be able to be seen and heard, because otherwise you'll have one or two channels and they can get turned off tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook can decide they do not like you anymore and you're dead to them and gone. PayPal can decide that they don't like what you're doing anymore because they've changed their policies and shut you down. Amazon can kick you out for any reason. You're at their mercy. So you got to kind of spread yourself as wide as you can. And we try and do that. Like Amazon probably represents only 5% of our sales. And mostly because we haven't really been on social media this year. It's been very challenging. Last year was a little bit more, but it's trying to be diversified as possible.
So you put your message out there, you get all this attention now coming to your product. Now you've got to deliver, you have to have inventory and you have to have fulfillment channels and you have to get it to the customer. How did you handle all of that as the business grew? Were your suppliers like direct fulfilling your orders? Did you have to get a warehouse? How did that end up working?
So I've been the person who always wanted to make a better wheel without knowing how to make a wheel. I didn't like I don't like Apple products because they're too easy, right? I didn't want to use Shopify because everyone used Shopify. It's just like plug and play. It makes no sense. Why would you use that? It's got to be something better than that. And that's the biggest mistake any entrepreneur can make, and a lot of them make over and over again. So yes, you need to find a supplier that is on demand and fulfills by just a freaking API connection to your system. So the three guys I have, they use simple open source software where the CRM hooks up with one little connection. And if someone buys a bottle of turmeric, it goes, this customer bought a bottle of turmeric, sends it over, ships it out. You get an invoice a week later. And
you don't see anything.
No, and you should never do anything else. If you're doing something else, you are putting yourself at risk of failure unless you're at my level or higher where you're like, is it advisable now to get out of that and start my own? Because I can either do more for less or do more unique things for the same price. That's when you do that. So a lot of people think they're supposed to build everything from the beginning. No. Like when you see someone in there, they're like, oh, this person came out of nowhere and built this $1 billion company. That's probably their 12th company they built. Right. And they failed so many times before and they knew what to do. And the way they knew exactly who to get the money from, where to get the warehouse from, where to get the space from, who has the best equipment to get from. They've already fucked up, excuse my language, enough times to be able to not have to do that again. And that's why they're so successful their first shot. So first time out of the gates, white label, make it simple. Using a CRM, by the way, ClickBank, Buy Goods, Digistore, they all do the credit card processing for you. They pay out the affiliates for you. They take their fees. They pay the taxes. They do everything. They handle the refunds for you. You get the remainder of the cash left over to pay for the inventory. That's it.
Does this model work for all products?
So in ClickBank, there's verticals for everything. The two biggest online are, of course, how to make money online and how to lose weight. So if you hit those two, you're walking into a millions and millions of person market. If you walk into how to reduce mold out of your walls, probably a much, much smaller space. So at that point, it's harder to find affiliates. But I have worked with people who do a bunch of different stuff. One of the newest guys I've met, his name's John. He has a really cool mindset astrology company with like 15 different brands in it. It's like $4 or $5 million a year. Just like quality stuff, all ClickBank. He's only been on ClickBank and that's it. So it's just phenomenal what you can do in the different, verticals. But ideally in this whole space, you want to be a digital product, meaning a PDF of some kind of video coaching, some kind of a course like that. Could be live calls, similar to this kind of concept we're doing now. Or you want to have a physical product that is white labelable and ships automatically from the warehouse. You don't want to deal with anything else because you're not an operations person. if you're doing this, you're most likely an entrepreneur, which means you're more of a salesperson than anything else. And so you don't need to figure out how to run a warehouse, how to get, take care of all the regulations and issues involved with that. You just don't want to touch that.
So this is a completely different mindset than an Amazon seller. An Amazon seller's going on doing product research. They find a physical product, source it from China, and do the whole gamut. If you were starting, and I can't put you on the spot here, if you were starting over and you had to start from scratch, what would be your process to do what you similarly did with your supplement kind of? Let's say you had to start from scratch and do it from day one. What would be the process there? You don't have any idea what you're selling. You got to find that product. What would you do?
So I've actually created these steps out because I've been working with so many people that have been wanting to learn more, friends, close people, people in the industry, that I developed an entire process for this. And so the first step is understanding your business, right? Where you're set up legally, all that fun information around that. If you already have a business, you don't have to do it again. You can just use what you have existing. The next step is understanding who the market is and what your company stands for in its name. Because if you are selling a weight loss product to 50-year-old women and your primal monkey health, that makes no sense to them. They're not turned on by that name. It does not resonate with them. It's almost wanting to buy a Ferrari, and if they call it a jalopy, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want the Ferrari jalopy. That's weird, right? It doesn't match. So once you nail that down, then you're able to go into the story, which usually involves something personal from your life, because just making stuff up is pretty lame. So you're gonna have to go back and determine, what kind of journey you got in your life. And we have a whole 10-page pamphlet that helps people pull out their entire story, that pain, that issue, the issues they have. And then from there, it's determining which product fits that story and that market demographic the best. And then it's building it all out, starting to learn how to run a company in a structure, how to build testing, how to understand all that piece, and then becoming an affiliate manager, either hiring someone because you have the funds to, or being one yourself and learning how to shake hands and kiss babies.
It's a whole new process.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch more after that too, about how to make money with your own email list, and about how to bring out your next product and how not to spend more money than you're actually making, and know that for sure. But yeah, to get the thing going is those kind of simple steps.
What are the upfront costs in order to set something like this up? So if I was going to do the supplement business, if I was going to go the route you're talking about, where it's the on-demand shipping, I mean, are there upfront costs in minimums or setup fees or any of that?
Some of them have small setup fees, a couple $100, $1,000, and a lot of that's just to weed through people who are wasting their time. But there's really not any major cost for them. You have to make labels, which could cost you a couple $100 per label. Not much to have the designs created. Sometimes they'll ask for you pay for a roll of labels. So you got to write $1,000 check for a bunch of labels kind of thing, because they don't want to own all your labels and then have you never sell something. So that's kind of the biggest cost there. But besides that, you have two major costs, and that's going to be building. So design and actually functionally building the pages. And if you do it yourself on ClickFunnels or a WordPress platform, you can obviously do it for a couple $100 or $1,000 if you hire a designer kind of thing. And you can go to 99designs.com and find designers there that'll help build it all out, or Fiverr or Upwork. But I like to go to 99 Designs because that's where true designers live. And then from there, the most expensive part is that story, that copy. Because just like a movie or a TV show, if it's got terrible writing, you click away and you're done in seconds.
So you have to have a story. I'm feeling like you can't just create a testosterone booster just for the hell of it. There's got to be a reason you're doing this, and you got to have that story. You can't just make this up because people are going to see right through it.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. So some good copywriters they can make anything sound real. And these are the guys that you're going to spend $20,000, $30,000 to write a sales page for. And mind you, they want commission forever too. And they deserve it because they make great pages. But someone who's a much more novice won't have that skill set to write that story. I almost think actually a good copywriter would be someone who came from the entertainment industry, because they may be able to create that emotional connection a lot better. But basically, I think the best way of doing it is trying to look back in yourself about what's a good life story. Right. So for me, it was my dad in that first one. So my dad had injuries, he had health problems, he had weight problems, and he was going through all these things to try and achieve it. And when that doctor said, go eat turmeric, I was like, little light bulb, right? So was that the only thing that saved my dad? No, not by any means. And I even say that in the sales page. You know, he did this, he changed his diet, he started exercising. But that was the catalyst we used, that first step to get him to make the changes in the life that he needed. And that's kind of how he wrote the story. And that story worked great too, because the people reading it, 55-year-old plus men and women who tend to be in the demographic for that weight loss space, they are like, oh, this guy's helping his parents out. How wonderful. You know, there's an emotional connection there. They could see themselves in the parents. They could see themselves with the kids. It has to connect. And that story is so crucial. And most people have one. Everybody says, oh, I don't have one. You know, you're just not looking deep enough. Trust me, if we went to a good therapist, they can make you cry. Like, everyone has deep damage problems. We're Americans. We're all inherently damaged from life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But that copy is the most expensive part. So in short, if you could write copy yourself, you could do the whole thing for like probably $1 or $2 grand to set up. If you need to hire a copywriter, you're going to spend between $5,000 and $20,000 to do the entire project.
What's your go-to for copyright?
Who's this guy, Kris Wright? He's a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a ninja.
What's that process look like? You do an interview, get the story formulated, hear the story, and then he creates that off of that?
Exactly. So actually, Kris Wright, you're going to get a little reach out to him. Anybody want to Google Kris Wright? He's phenomenal. Him and a mutual partner we have in different projects, his name's Peter. Peter and Kris put together the entire process for pulling out that story. So it's like a 7-page procedure. And you can get that from Kris's website. He has it right there. If you want to find it for yourself, you can get it through the coaching program that I offer as well. But basically, you're able to pull out the entire story, ask you the questions that you need to look in deep to try and find. But earlier, I kind of mentioned it, you know, that one of the coaching clients I had, I don't have a story. Oh, I need to lose weight. And then my husband did this. And, you know, it's just, we all have a story at some point in our life, whether it be about weight loss or pain, or we saw it happen in a friend, in a family member, in a loved one. It's all there. And will the story be 100% true every single second of it? No, but nothing is. We want to pretend everything. I mean, Elon Musk, none of his story about anything he did about how he started any of his companies is true. It's all a lie. Guy's a genius, don't get me wrong, but like he didn't invent Tesla. He didn't create it. Other people did. He just came in and accelerated and grew it, right? There's every story out there has layers of icing on top. And so you take your story, you have the copywriter add those layers of icing to make it just seem so sweet and perfect and readable and connectable. And that's how you do it. That's how you really create it.
You can tell when something is really good copywriting because you're like engrossed. Like I was saying, I mean, it's like 30 minutes later and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm still reading. And this is a one pager that just keeps going and going and going. And
there's one out right now called JavaBurn, I think. It's converting like insane amounts. The guy that builds it basically builds one superstar funnel a year. He's a genius. Yeah, it's one of those. If anyone wants to look up JavaBurn, you'll just be watching that video for quite some time.
I'm going to check that out.
I will check that out. Okay, now I want to go touch a little bit more on the process part because this is what I find interesting. Okay, so you've got a supplier, they're fulfilling on demand, but you're giving the affiliates up to 50% or more commissions, excuse me, on the sale. Is that all of your margin? I mean, is that a break even? I mean, where is the return? Is it on repeat buys, long-term? Like, how does the affiliate work into that? Like, if I buy your supplement through an affiliate and now I'm going to buy it every month, are they getting the commissions still? And at what point do you start seeing profits?
So in the health space, there's not really ongoing commission, lifetime commission. So a few big companies tried this and it's just mechanically impossible to track it long-term, technologically wise. So it burned a lot of bridges and no one does it anymore. There's two types of ways to pay out. One's called a rev share, where you're given a percentage of the sale. And so ClickBank, Buy Goods, Store, it's all built in. They subtract their fee first. And then if you're given 50%, they have it in half and send it out that way. The other one's called a CPA, cost per acquisition. That's the one I prefer because both for when we're marketing products and when I'm getting people to do stuff, it's just, hey, I pay you $80 a sale. I don't care if someone spends $20 or $3,000, I'm going to give you $80 a sale. And on average, they're able to calculate their numbers much easier that way because you're not like, well, it's 20% here and 50% there and 60% of this, and they don't know. The CPAs allows them to really figure that out. So, but going back to your question, how do you determine what you're spending on your traffic? And that comes down to how well the page converts. So if you have a 1% converting page, you're going to need to have $140, $150 commission per customer on average. If you have about a 2%, you're going to be down to about $100. If you have a 3 or 4%, you can be down like $50. And so it depends on how well the page converts is how much you have to pay out. So ideally, when you build it all out, you want to be paying about that 50% margin, because that's usually where it all just kind of jives perfectly. With that, you're going to make 10 to 15% yourself, as long as your refunds don't go through the roof. And that would only be the case if you said this cures cancer and will increase your Bitcoin wallet, that kind of insanity. Then people will get pissed off. But if you can keep your refunds below a manageable expectation of about 10% or less, then you can walk away with about 10 to 15%. Now, what's more important, 10 to 15% of sales or more customers? Because if you gave out that more higher commission, could you get significantly more customers? Because if you can, then you can repeat sell them, or you can market to them. And this is the beauty of the affiliate marketing world, because we're all connected, we're all friends, we all are in the space together, where I know in Amazon, it's much more headbutting. We promote other people's very similar products. So if I have a customer who buys turmeric from me, I know they like turmeric. I'm going to sell them more turmeric, especially ones I don't have, like special ones that are liquids that are full of magic juice or whatever it is that I don't have in my inventory. I'll make a killing on promoting that offer to a different customer, just like he'll make a killing promoting my turmeric offer to his audience. So what we do is create email lists and let people self-select what kind of voice they want to hear from. If they want to hear from a nutritionist, they want to hear from a doctor, they want to hear from me. And then we market to them these other products. That email list brings in 60 to 80% of the company's profit every year.
Wow.
So over time, that email list becomes everything. And by the way, you should never learn how to manage it yourself. You find the best people to manage it for you, because there's companies that do this and they will do twice as good as you can on your best day, even if they take 25% or 30% of the revenue.
What I like about all this, it's like it's all outsourced, it seems. Like you just outsource the 95% of this and pretty much it.
It is. You have to literally be the CEO. You have to be the freaking person moving the chess pieces around. You have to be the quarterback. Like when my uncle was a VP for Pac Bell back in the day, very smart guy. He told me when I was a kid, don't be the penny, be the quarter. You got to know everything, be able to move the pennies around, tell them where to be. And so you can outsource everything. Should you? No, you definitely want to build a team inside. And I like to teach people how to build a team in the Philippines, because the Philippines has incredibly talented, intelligent, smart, hardworking people, and they're very, very inexpensive compared to the United States. So you can get a team of 5 for the price of one person in the United States, and they're probably twice as qualified. You have to just learn how to be a good manager and create systems. That's the one challenging point behind that, but it makes you a better person when you can do that process.
So let's talk about Supplement Millionaire Blueprint. Is this a group? Is this your training? Explain, because what you're doing now is you're helping others replicate your success.
Yeah. So basically it became, in my vision, such a repeatable process we were doing that I was like, wait, I need to SOP this entire thing. And as we were doing it, I was realizing that I need to teach this to people, because people would be like, hey, Cody, how'd you do that? And I've explained some basic stuff to them, and they would be just glazed over or slapped in the face, because it was just too much for them to take in. Mm-hmm. They just hadn't gotten to that step yet to take in that information. And so it's kind of like you're looking for the next shiny object when you need to be doing step 2 instead of thinking about step 8's shiny object. So what we did is we put together interviews with everyone that we've worked with that's been a success and helped us, gotten from them what makes what they do a success and how to do it on your own. And then we divided it out into an actual about 12-step process. So each piece you need to accomplish basically in order. And this whole course I put together, I love it, and I'm making it better consistently. So as I work with more of the one-on-one coaching clients, I'm taking that knowledge and I'm filtering it back down to this product. but basically Supplement Millionaire Blueprint is a blueprint I designed for people to be able to, at their own leisure, learn about the entire industry, all the steps involved, so that way they don't make mistakes when they're actually launching their product. I mean, I've lost close to $1 million by making mistakes, by hiring the wrong people, by using contractors that suck, by chasing after multiple things when I shouldn't have, by just that shiny object syndrome. That's the biggest killer for entrepreneurs. And I don't want people making that mistake, because I was lucky enough to have an offer that converted just well enough to survive it all. I was lucky enough to not be a big spender and have blown all the cash. I've been lucky to just get by by the skin of my teeth when I screwed up multiple times, to be able to understand what I was doing wrong and how not to do those mistakes again.
Are you still launching new supplements?
Yeah, we got 2 coming out next month.
Nice.
Crazy.
I'm looking at the supplementmillionaireblueprint.com page, which everyone should go to, so you can learn how to replicate this. And I can see your long form direct sales messaging is spot on. I mean, it's great.
Yes.
It's just you're telling the whole story.
And that was written by my partner, Peter Zemis, in the program. He teaches about copy in there. He's involved in a lot of the interviews. And it's if anything, a great example of, what you need to be building to promote your product. And it's just, we go over everything the product talks about, everything we can, as generally as you can. Because obviously, if we went into the massive detail, everyone would just glaze over if who wasn't interested. And it's a step-by-step process. You got to make sure someone's ready for the next step. I had a great coaching call with potential client earlier, and he's not ready for one-on-one coaching. He just needs the product to watch the videos right now. So that's what I told him to do. Gave him a link, said, just watch the videos. When you're done with this, talk to me again. Because it's all about being ready for where you are. You don't want to take the wrong step. And like I joined masterminds before. I dropped $25,000 to be in a mastermind once. The guy should have never recommended me join a mastermind. It was a dick move of him, because I didn't learn anything. And a year later, I went, wow, I need to not be in masterminds anymore.
I've been on that road.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. But it's great. And so the whole idea is it's a do it yourself at your own pace kind of video course. You can put comments in there, which we all respond to. Myself, my VA, Peter, we all respond to the comments there. But the course is really just kind of a starting point. From there, we actually have a whole community starting in 2022 in January. So we're going to have open office calls, so you can join a kind of like a, light version of a mastermind and be on an open office and ask questions from me, from good copywriters, from affiliate managers, and learn more from them directly. And then we're also creating an onboarding program, so people can jump in with 10 people who are all on the same page as them and go through the 12 steps together, and have someone they can reach out to in the community, ask questions of me and my team, and be able to really understand what the next steps are. Because I'd love to say I could do it for you. And I know people who have tried to do companies that are done for you funnel making systems, but without the owner having the knowledge and the buy-in and the want, it doesn't do anything. They just fail. Someone has to really have care behind it, a reason why behind it. And if you do, then you can keep pushing it along until it succeeds.
And like you said, the important part is that person's story. So if you can't done for you somebody else's story. But this is really interesting. This is a different angle than I think either Kris or myself. I mean, just in terms of the way this business model is laid out, it's really interesting.
Is there? I got a question, because in the Amazon space, each mastermind has a different do this tactic, or try this out. Where is that at in this space? Is there something in this space that is a little hack per se that somebody could take away from it, or anything?
Everyone has hacks. There's hundreds of them, right? It's on the mobile page, or on the pages, making sure the 6 bottles is in the middle. So you have an option of selling 1, 6, and 3 on the sales page at the bottom. Put the 6 in the middle. On mobile, the 6 should be on top. There's a hack. You'll increase your conversion by 0.25%. Making sure that you have no background images on mobile, right? Because if you have these background images on mobile, you can't read the text. Make sure you have the right font. The font matters massively. So designing for mobile first. There's another hack right there. People tend to design on their desktop because that's what they're designing for. But 80% of traffic is mobile. A huge one. We just tested this a few weeks ago. Amazon buttons win. Who would have thunk? The biggest selling platform in the world knew to make the best button. So if you get a similar color and shape to what an Amazon button is, you'll have higher people buying than you will if you have a different color or different shape than what Amazon buttons are.
And there we go. Now we're talking.
Exactly.
Different things like that.
When I first saw that, I looked at my team and I'm like, I told you so. It's like they probably paid more people than I've ever earned in my whole entire career just to figure out the exact curvature of the button to make sure people like it right.
There is no doubt about that. Oh my gosh, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I could, if every day I could learn a new business model that I wasn't aware. I mean, that's my favorite thing. That's why this podcast is so fun to do, is just because you can learn all these new models. But this is really interesting. Maybe I might walk through this course.
I'd love it. I'd love to take you guys on. Here's the biggest thing though, honestly. Do not ever buy a course like mine or any of them, guys, if you're not serious. So someone's listening right now and they're like, oh, I'll buy it and check it out. Oh, he's got a 60-day refund policy. I'll refund it if I don't like. No, don't be that person. Like, it's going to cost $5 to $20 grand to start a company. This is a blueprint to accelerate and make it easier for you, and an option later for you to join a community if you're ready for that. But like, if you know you don't got the money for it and you know it's not right at right time, don't make the step yet. Don't be sold by that beautiful sales page. Only do it if you're ready.
I got a question for you. Is this a sellable model? Like, can I sell this to somebody and they take it over?
There are people. I've met people. I have a new coaching client, one-on-one coaching client, who's bought funnels from people before. So it is possible. But I don't think it's like you're going to walk away with a $30 million exit kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I don't think that's the space. I remember watching Shark Tank years ago, and Mark Cuban was yelling at some guys with the ring company and said, "You don't have a company, you're just marketers." It's true. They just figured out how to sell something that everybody else has, and they could get their hands on from anybody a better way, which is what affiliate marketing is, right? We're selling a white label product, and that's it. So he was hating on them because they didn't have a unique product that would drive people to their company because of the product. So I think unless you've developed the entire systems and teams and SOPs and to build that out, and you have a guaranteed traffic source, all that kind of concept, you don't have a sellable business. So in short, making let's just call the funnel a product and trying to sell it is going to be very hard because there's so many more steps involved. Like, for example, once you launch your product and let's say you get it to convert right, after that, there's 100 more things you got to understand. You got to understand how to hire a team. You got to understand how to work with a CFO. And by the way, the biggest mistake I ever made was not paying for an expensive CFO early. Probably would have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars, way less than what they cost. And so make sure you have your accounting dialed in, making sure you understand credit card processing. That is a 6-hour lesson that I still haven't even fully learned. Credit card processing is a freaky game of trying to understand how to play this and that and changing this little code here to get a better conversion rate on this page and then changing it for this market. And it's just insane, right? So there's lots of little things that you have to learn later. And without that all being in place and understood, I don't know why someone would want to buy a business. So at that point, you're probably just selling snake oil if you're able to sell it to somebody.
I love this podcast because I'll think of another question and just keep going on here. So couldn't I just create multiple brands with the same story and use the same product and just have all these like micro brands that sell the same product and just kind of affiliate it all around, but it's the same product basically. It's just a different brand.
You will see over time stories will fail out. So for example, my main product that with a long story is called BioSwitch, which was originally called BioHarmony. We changed the story already once. We're changing it again for 2023 because what jives with someone last year doesn't work today. So one of my staff is kind of the star of it, and we had a long conversation once, and boom, there's an idea for changing the sales page, and so it still stays true to being from the same person. Still stays true to being based on reality. The story is just more evolved to what happened during COVID right now and being locked at home all day long with their kids and all that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to update it. So you could potentially do it that way. But the biggest problem is you have the affiliates you work with. If you say, I have 3 identical products, they're only going to mail 1.
Gotcha.
Now, could you make 3 different products that are very similar for 3 different marketplaces, like pain, weight loss, and something else? Yeah. If you could find something that works, you could. but then it probably would be a different story, a different pain point. If there is templates to it all. For example, there's an amazing copy guy out there named Stefan DeGeorgi. He's got a thing called Copy Accelerator. He teaches people how to write copy, and there's formulas. He built this product called the RMBC method. It's a beautiful step-by-step formula on how to make a sales page. So everything is templatable, but it needs to be unique, I think.
How do you keep your email list warm? Instead of just offer. Obviously, the sayings out there is give them a bunch of information. What do you do there?
So there's a lot of strategy behind the email list. We work with 2 different email list management companies who do 2 different methods on different email lists we operate on. But the main things you want to look for is you need an over 20% open rate, and you need to have that's basically the main thing. If you have an over 20% open rate, you're doing well. So if you are sending 2 emails a day, you want to make sure you send emails to the full list. You never send emails to the unopens because they don't open emails, and you now have less opens that day. So you're no longer above that 20%. And if you ever start to have a reduction in opens, you just send content, blog posts and things like that, to give them love, and then rebuild that list. Another thing you can do is scrub the list. Only send to people who have opened or clicked in the last 30 days. If that gets you a 40% open rate, then do 45 days until you kind of find that magic window. And there's a bunch of cool software out there too that can help you optimize it and pick the mail to the right person or mail at different times a day and stuff. And choosing the right mailing system is important. But yeah, it's a whole business itself. And in my course, I recommend 2 people to hire once you have developed your company and you actually are producing a couple thousand customers a month. Then you just reach out to these 2 people, they take their commissions, and you just start getting a check.
This is really fascinating. Okay, I know we're running up on time here. How can people reach out to you if they want to go through your course? What's the best way for them to learn about it and get started with it?
Perfect. So on the course, supplementmillionaireblueprint.com, supplementmillionaire.com. You can type in codybramlett.com. That'll lead you to me as well. On there, you can email us, support@supplementmillionaire. You can obviously buy the course and start reading through it and asking questions like crazy on there. But that's kind of the way it starts. In the new year, we'll have plenty of steps that are coming out there. There'll be plenty of marketing opportunities. So if you want to learn about more, there'll be ways to opt in. Currently, there's not. We're really just kind of waiting for people who are excited and want to take that next step. We're not looking for the looky-loos, hey, what's it going to take to start a business? Do I have to work actually? Like, I don't want that. No. You got to come to me and be like, Cody, I've started a supplement business and I've failed and I don't know what to do and I have to make this work. I'm going crazy. Or Cody, I've just exited another business and I want to start this new one and I know you're the best one to help me do it. Or it's been my dream my whole life and I've scraped together this much cash to do it. How do I do it best with this much cash? Like, that's kind of people I'm looking for. You have to want to do it and follow through. You can't. That's who wins in this world. Mm-hmm. You guys didn't win by not making a podcast and continually doing how many episodes now?
169.
Exactly, 169. Right? Yeah. Most people do like 4 and they go, oh, it didn't work. And they stop, right?
Yeah.
No, you got to keep going.
Exactly.
That's right. You got to keep going. Oh, this is awesome. All right. Supplementmillionaireblueprint.com. Everyone's got to check it out. You can reach out to Cody if you've got questions. What was it? Support?
Yep.
Support at
supplementmillionaire.com.
Yep. Awesome. Cody, thanks so much for joining us. This has been a really fascinating conversation. I love just deep dive on these. It's really fun. So we really appreciate you joining us today. Everyone, thanks so much for listening. If you like content like this, make sure you're subscribing to this podcast on whatever podcast platform you listen on. Also, if you'd like to see the live streams when we do go live and you'd like to get notified, make sure that you're following Solozo's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube channel. Make sure you're turning on notifications there as well so you get notified when we have really great people like Cody on the show. Also, if you're currently selling on Amazon and you are struggling managing your advertising, we can help you out at Solozo. Go to solozo.com. You can book a demo in the upper corner. We will help show you how we can help optimize your ads on Amazon. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Thanks, Cody, for joining us. We'll see you all next time.